What's up, YouTube? Welcome to more trades. All right, Bitcoin. Are we ready for the leg down, as the title says? Well, we will have a leg down. Is it sooner or later? I'm quite, I would say, a bit more confident that we will see a leg down. However, will we go up first or just get rejected over here in the 200 and 233 EMA? Now we can take a look at that and see if we have any confluences in that level other than the 200 and 233 on the 4-hourly chart. On the 1-hourly chart, obviously it's the 50. On the 4-hourly, we have our value area high coming in at 17,243, and this is on the 4-hourly, and our 233 on the 4-hourly 7288. Could we go up here, wick, and then only to continue lower? It's very possible. It sounds like a good plan if that happens. Let's look at our Fibonacci retracement for that from our previous dump over here. Was this FOMC dump, I think? And then to the low, our 0.618 aligns almost perfectly with our ascending channel. You can call it an ascending channel or a bear flag, whatever you want to call it. An ascending channel that we could come up, wick above here, only to get rejected. I was talking about this a few days ago, that we may come up and retest the bottom of the bear flag. On the value area high, we have the 0.5 fib. It's a perfect retracement for wave 4. It's a maximum retracement for wave 4. However, if we get up to the 0.618, I think things will look more bearish, because I would say that we are in a 1 and this is a 2 and we're moving a 3, 4, 5. However, if we just come to the 0.5, our 0.5 fib could say that we're in a wave B, as in this was an A and we're coming up for B and a C correction, then we'll continue higher, if you know what I'm saying. So more bearish if we come up all the way up to 17.5 to the 17.6 zone. That would be more bearish, but I see a liquidity level here, or an order block. That would be some resistance if we even come up here. Over here we have this level 17.3. It will be an interesting level, value area high, and since it's a value area high, you'll see that it had a lot of trades. Look at that, resistance. This is on the 4-hourly, so it's a lot of resistance. So even if we only tested it as support here, if we come up, that will be again possibly resistance. This level goes back to, we didn't test it since, I mean, obviously you guys know that we haven't been in these levels since 2020. So if you go to 2020, you'll notice that in these levels, this is the weekly chart, so it's very hard to see what's going on over here. But essentially we've come down last week or 2 weeks ago to the 15.4 range, somewhere around this area, and if we release, we might even go lower, obviously. My analysis is that I really feel like we are about to have a leg down. I want to go to another chart that I usually look at. This is a Bitstamp chart over here. I have my fib channels. You can see that last week we wicked above the fib channel only to get rejected. This is a very bearish candle on the weekly chart, so that's not good. Good evening, Mr. Nobody. Nice to see you after a long time, man. Nice to see you. I just started a few minutes ago. I was talking about Bitcoin, and I was saying now that this is a very bearish weekly candle over here. Now if I go to my indicators, I would like to pull up an indicator that I pulled up in my last stream, and look where do we stand in that indicator and how far has it moved, the KEMA. This is an indicator that has a lot of EMAs, but I just want to see where's the 300 and 400 EMAs on the KEMA. So I'll turn off all the other indicators over here. Oh yeah, selling at support, man. I don't really advise that. I mean, this is when capitulation happens and a lot of people start selling, and then it ends up being a waterfall to the downside, possibly. I think if you've held this long, I don't know if it's a good idea for anybody to sell at these levels. We could go lower, and you could say, oh, thank God I sold at 16K and I'm not stuck here at 10K with my bags. But I think the levels that we're in, just to be honest, on the chart, I think they're good buy levels. But am I buying at these levels? No. I might miss out. It might go up and I'll be like, I should have bought. But I really feel we have one more leg down or a few more legs down in the coming months. But for now, for the short term, I believe we still have one more leg down. We're coming towards the end of the month, December. This is the last full trading week. I believe next week will be a shorter trading week. I think there'll be holidays coming up. And then after that, I think Christmas, when Christmas break happens, the volatility and the volume in the market will be less because a lot of people will be on holidays. Big institutions, money funds and all these will be on a break. So we won't have, it will be boring trading for a couple of weeks, might be. Nice. BNB, huh? We'll take a look at BNB in a second, but I want to look at, yeah. So my analysis is that we've never closed a candle below the 300 EMA. I'm echoing, oh man. Okay, let me just try and fix that. Just give me a second. How does it sound now? Is the volume fine? All right, just give me a second. There aren't any two mics over here. How's the volume now? Okay, I'm doing good. Thanks. Thanks guys for asking. Critical, welcome to the stream, bro. Yeah, smash the likes. And let's get into it. Okay, 300 EMA. We've never broken the 300 EMA. Sorry about the audio. Thanks for highlighting it, Mr. Nobody. The 300 EMA, we've never closed a candle below it. And as I said last time, we've been here 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th candle closed, unfortunately. And we're in the 6th candle, and we're still under it. And my next target, since we are below that, my next target, just looking at an EMA perspective, that if we drop next EMA to test will be the, where is it? Come on. Yeah, the 500 EMA at 14,117. Now 14,117 will match with my zone that I'm looking at. Again, nothing much has changed, but I just like to put a reminder. 14117 will bring me down to this box, 14776 to 13273, and the measured move of this bear flag. This is on the weekly, so it looks very bad, but this bear flag, I measured it out, and the pole size brings me down to 12639. Is it possible? 100% possible. Did we think it's possible to come down here when we're at 69k? No, but 100% it's possible. But how long will it take? I think we could be in this range, which was similar to our 19, this exhaustive range, this one, sorry, from September till November. We were just ranging. That was a corrective wave, and I think we are in a a micro corrective range. It looks the same. We might have one more spike up, only to continue lower. Just by looking at this, we could have a spike up. I know that there is a possibility we could visit the 19 to 20k, and this will still be bearish. Why? Because if we visit the 19 to 20k, essentially we'll just be getting up to the point of control of this range, upper range, and only to get rejected down. Now if we pull a fib retracement from this 21,500 range to the low 19 range, 19,183 to 19,377, brings me up to the 0.618 and 0.65, essentially golden pocket, and the 20k brings me to the 0.786, 20,199. So even if we come all the way up, that could be a very bearish thing. Why? It could be a bearish thing because that could mean that this was a 1 all the way down here, and we come up to the 20,000, I said 200 approximately, 199, and we're going down for 3, 4, 5. And if we get up, remember this, when this happens, I want you to remember that I've said it from now. If this happens, the length of wave 3, if we get rejected over here, wave 3 could bring us down to the mid range of the zone. You see the 1-to-1 extension, or even the 10k zone, which everyone is screaming for, which is a big possibility. Now if you go to this other chart, the Bitstamp chart, I use it when I want to do long-term charting because it has more data than other charts. So I go to it on the weekly, and I can show you something that's so bearish if you haven't seen it before. This was my wave count. I still believe we have one more low, as you can see. My final wave 5, the wave 4 should be pushed here, and I'm expecting a wave 5 down. I've had this for a long time. You can watch my videos. Okay, now what do I have here that I'm saying is so bearish? This is a bearish pattern that I have over here. I've seen it a long time ago. This is a very bearish head and shoulders. I mean, you can draw it different ways, but essentially on the weekly we had a triple top formation. Yeah, we had a triple top. We could say it was like this, and we broken down, and the length of that, let's see how far could it get us. Not much. We've done it already. We've done the measured move for that, the 23 range. And in the same time, we also have some bullish pattern over here. Now we can look at the bullish and the bearish. We don't have to have a bias for this. A bullish pattern that's playing out over here. Let me get rid of this. We have a descending wedge, a descending triangle or wedge. You could clearly see it. It's more of a wedge to me. I see it as a wedge. And if you say it's a triangle, it's a wedge. It's not a triangle. This is on the weekly pattern. So we could have, where's the tool? We had a touch here, a touch here. We didn't come down, but we came down here. We didn't go all the way down. Doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, we could play with this path tool and do that and say that is our wedge. Now it's becoming more of a channel, but it's not a perfect channel. I see it as a wedge, and I'd like to mark it from here. Yeah. There you go. You could have that, or you could even mark it from here. See, these are all a matter of perspective. What do you feel like, what looks correct to you? You know what I mean? Now that looks like a perfect wedge. We had a touch here. What I like to see in a wedge is or in triangle is consecutive touches. Down, up. I would like to see a down, but we have a down, up, up, down. Whatever the case, we could play it. We could play it with a target to the upside of the wedge, 19157. POC of the top range, not the bottom range, of this entire range from the top to the bottom, 19157, which would be resistance. And it's the top of the wedge. It's the top of this bear flag as well. Or we could come down on this weekly candle to the bottom over here, 14,502. So these are my targets. Both of them have good evidence that they could hit, because the top shows me the POC and the top of the wedge, and the bottom shows me the zone of reversal that I had. And not only the top of the wedge and the POC, it's also the golden pocket, 0.618 and 0.65 is right over there. And I believe if I pull in my EMAs on the 4-hourly, you will see that on the 4-hourly, do we have any EMAs on the hourly? Nothing at the golden pocket. Nothing on the daily. Okay, so I don't have any of my EMAs right there, but I have the golden pocket very close by, the point of control, and the top of the wedge. Now, if I get there, then I know that there's a good chance that we're gonna reverse from there, or get rejected, in other words. Now let's go to BNB for Mr. Nobody. This is BNB USDT. I'll show you what I think about it and what targets do I have for it. Okay, at the moment, BNB is at the bottom of the value area low. So if it comes up and is able to get above the 257 range, I expect it to be able to come at least to this 273. You're welcome, buddy. If we can reclaim 257, we are below the value area low. We have this zone, this box, which was a zone that I had previously. Why do I have this zone? Let's take a look. I'm not sure why I had this zone, but possibly it was a zone of interest. It was possibly a vector candle that I marked out from the bottom to the top, and I had it for a while and didn't take it off. Anyways, this zone between the 299 and 282 is a zone of interest. You see, we get rejected, we come down, get rejected, we come down. We break up with these volume candles, only to break down with a volume candle, and comes another candle we aren't able to break up, and we come down. As you can see, it's a range, and if we pull a volume profile there, we might find for this range, let's see, wait, where was that? What am I doing? I want to see the volume profile. So the volume profile doesn't show that this is a POC. For some reason, I had this zone previously. Maybe I need to remove it. But I can see from our move from up here that we put in a 1, 2. This is a possible 3, a 4, and this is a fifth wave. In the fifth wave, we possibly had a 1, two, another 1, 2. There's pretty much many 1, 2s, but I can tell you for certain this move up is a corrective wave. So I believe we're still in a correction. Possibly it was a WXY or something, but this move up looks very corrective. And we had a spike up over here. This is on the daily chart. And I can project, if I say my initial 1, 2 was there, let's just mark it out and see where wave 3 should have ended. My 1 was here, short wave 1, 2. My wave 3 could have ended here, the 1.618, we had a 4, we had a 5, and maybe that was a wave 1 on its own. It is more of a crabbing action, yeah. This could have been a wave 1 of its own, and this is a wave 2. So I could say that the top here was wave 1, which ended over here to the top of wave 2. Wave 3 can bring me down to the 116 range. The 116 range is possible. It's a zone, and if you look at the daily chart, where does that bring you? That brings me exactly here, if I'm not mistaken. 116 would be in this zone. This was 2021 February, so 116 would be somewhere here. If we bring that, so I could mark this as a zone of interest. And if I extend this to the left, extend left, I mean extend right. Now let's go back here. It will be the 1-to-1 extension. And I bet you there's some vector zones there to recover that we haven't yet. There you go. I'll remove this rectangle, and you can see the 1-to-1 below it is a zone of liquidity. I believe BNB has more downside, but we might go a bit, you might have some more upside just to recover this move down, maybe up to the POC, maybe higher, and you'd make more gains. I can say that if this move goes up, let's see what is a retracement for the top over here that we put on the 27th of November to the bottom over here. The 1.618 will bring you back to the 50 EMA on the daily chart, close to the POC, the golden pocket POC will bring you very close to last week's high, possibly at the range of 280 to 283, where I would expect a zone of pullback or a strong rejection. Okay, 270 looks like not very far away. It's a good zone as long as you have a plan. The POC is at 273, so that's a good zone. You will be recovering this liquidity, very possible. And if we want to see what the market's general sentiment is doing, I look at one more thing I want to bring up. Something very interesting that caught my eye the other day is this coin, BNX. I don't know what it is. I've never traded it, but I noticed something very interesting in BNX. BNX, whenever Bitcoin has been pumping, it dumps. Whenever Bitcoin is pumping, it dumps. It does the opposite of Bitcoin. So essentially, when I look at this and I see that it's been going up, I know Bitcoin has been going down, and now it's having a pullback. I know that Bitcoin probably is pushing up. So let's go and experiment on this on the hourly. There you go. See, Bitcoin's pushing up and BNX is pulling down. So I'm just having this idea. Probably I could take opposite trades. If I'm going to long Bitcoin, I'm going to short BNX. If I'm going to short BNX, I'll long Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you find tradable assets. I mean, you look at the trading view and you look at the biggest gainers. That's what I do. I look at biggest gainers, or even on my app, my Binance app, I go in, I go to the futures and I look at the heat map and I look at the trading volume or rate change, 24-hour rate change, and I look at who has made most rate change. Then I go to the chart and I put in my EMAs and I put in my fib retracement and my volume profile, and I look what is the next zone to short this. When it's pumping like crazy, I am looking to short. That's what I do. you need to think the opposite. When it's dumping, you should look for when it's longing. So if you see something like this, BNX is down 9%. Is that a lot for BNX? No, because BNX can move. Yesterday it has made this move. Let's look at that. When was this? The beginning of the 19th candle, all the way up to the end of 19th. 19th ended over here. BNX has made a 28% gain in one day, so it's not very difficult. BNX, crystal, gold, and other wealth resources in the mine. Hardworking heroes can earn rewards for their work in the mine. I didn't get you. Sorry. Can you explain on that? Now back to this. I want to look at Solana, Litecoin, and Quant. What is a VIX doing? Ah, that's the token description. Okay, so maybe it's a mining game, or it's a mining thing. You mine and you get BNX, crystal, gold, and other wealth resources in the mine. Hardworking heroes can earn rewards. Maybe it's a game that you are a miner or something. I'm not sure about that really. Okay, so the VIX is going down today. So essentially when the VIX is high, things are gonna tank. The VIX is the volatility index for the SPY, the SPX. So when the VIX is high, essentially the volatility is high, and we're going to start dumping very soon. When the VIX is low, you're going to start pumping soon sometimes, or you hold to your positions. Okay, the yields 4% at 4, this is at 3. Let's look at the, I said I want to look at the DXY, Solana, and I said Litecoin, Quant. Quant hasn't done anything I didn't expect it to do. I had videos about Quant, and I was saying that both Quant and Litecoin played what I said could happen. So it's not about I told you so. It's just trying to highlight that TA does work. I had this level for Quant. I mentioned that if we lose, we were up at the 121. The next zone would be 114. After that, the the 110. And after that, we could see the 100 or 101 zone. So we lost, at that time, we were at the 124, I believe, and we were coming down. We lost the 121.5. We lost the 114. We came back up to retest the 114. We retested the 114, back tested it, only to come back down, all the way down. We even back tested the 110 on our way down. Look at that. We had several retests of the 110, only to come down to the 101.6. So Quant was essentially in a great bounce zone, the 101. And I mentioned that if Quant loses the 101, there's a high possibility that we could visit even lower targets at the 90s for Quant. Going to Litecoin. Litecoin, on the other hand, Litecoin had the zone of 73. Once we broke down below the 73.3, you can see we back tested that once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, only to reject and go lower. That's for Litecoin. And next zones for Litecoin are way lower. You can see it's basically just these liquidity levels that I have. We could go to Litecoin as low as the 20s if things don't get better. See, we have this liquidity that take us all the way to around $23 zone. So that's for Litecoin. Will we get there? Maybe. How fast will we get there? And that's another question, because we are essentially trying to pull up and pump to the upside. So when we do that, we might get a spike up for Bitcoin and the rest, then only to continue higher. Continue lower. The DXY was in a reversal zone, but for some reason the DXY is not having that juice in the tank to continue higher. We are going down to test last week's low, which is at around 103.463, which is a big zone of support and long-term support. So if we go back in the DXY, you can see this zone over here. We have it over here. We have it over here. And this is a big term support from 2017, 2020, and now we're coming to retest it. We could be back testing previous resistance as support, only to continue higher on higher time frames. DXY still looks parabolic. We haven't really lost the 50 EMA. We look like we're about to lose it. We did that last week, but we ended up going up, pulling back up. That's a critical level for DXY. Ethereum, on the other hand, Ethereum has zones to the upside. We have the POC and this horizontal resistance at 1,273 to 76 is an important zone for Ethereum. It's also a golden pocket. Let me get rid of that. So the daily for Ethereum looks very nice. We could recover this whole move to the downside, even wick above the POC, only to get rejected. This zone, you see that we struggle around this zone. We could get above it for a few days, only to come down below it for a few days, come up, value area high, come down, POC rejection, big move down, and we might be coming up to retest it again. So if Ethereum comes up, that's a good zone to consider, 1,276. We have the 200 EMA on the daily at around 1,567. On the 4-hourly, we have closer targets. We have the 50 EMA that we are at the moment. 200 EMA is coming at 1,256. So those are zones to be aware of. And the 233 for Ethereum. The 233 for Ethereum is at around the same zone as it's at 1,262. So those are the levels to watch out for Ethereum. Solana. This looks like a V-shaped recovery. Beautiful. But we need to break above the 12.6 zone and retest as support and continue higher. You have the 50 EMA on the 4-hourly. You have the value area low that you broke down from. You might come up to retest. You are essentially below significant resistance. You have this zone 13.3 and 13.852 that you need. The problem with Solana, I told you a few days ago that if we can break above the $15, then we can see the $18 and $16 range. We came up to the 14.99, I believe, 14.953, only to get rejected twice, 2 days in a row, and we went lower. So it doesn't look promising. It didn't look promising for Solana. We're basically just barting out over here. You can see it clearly. Barting out, and we went down. So Solana could continue lower. I have my targets to the downside. Solana to $9 or even $5 to $7 range for Solana. That's if Solana does not have enough juice in the tank to rotate to the upside. If it does, then fair and square. If it doesn't, then we won't really be going anywhere. We have these important zones, 9.114 and 8.307 for Sol. So let's see how it goes. If Solana is at $5, I'm telling you, that would be very interesting. I want to go back to Bitcoin now and look at divergences. Do we have any divergences for Bitcoin? Divergence indicator, Bitcoin. At the moment on the daily, turn off all my indicators for clarity, and probably you could switch to the line chart. It makes Seeing divergence is much easier. Though this indicator gives me divergences, but I like to find them before the indicator calculates them. I try to do it on my own. That way you're ahead of the game. You could see it before the indicator paints it. Okay, so looking at the daily divergences, do we have any divergences? We had a lower, we had a high, and we had a high, 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 high. Nothing over here, nothing interesting. Bullish divergences, none at the moment. On the 4-hourly, lower lows, highs. Over here, we might be printing on the 4-hourly hidden bearish divergence, a continuation of the trend, but depends how the 4-hourly closes in a few hours. I think the 4-hourly closes in 20 minutes, and then if it gets rejected over here, the RSI goes lower, and we don't break above in price action 17,400. We could have a confirmed 4-hour bearish divergence on the RSI, which could pull us down. Sometimes we don't see it, we don't get pulled down. We've seen it before in other coins that we see bearish divergence only to play out later on. On the MFI, we have the same. We have also hidden bearish divergence on the MFI, and on the CVD indicator. What is the CVD showing us on the 4-hourly? On the 4-hourly, CVD indicator is showing no divergences. On the daily, CVD and MFI, any divergences on the daily CVD, CVD and MFI. MFI on the daily was showing us higher lows on the price action and lower lows on the RSI. That is hidden bullish divergence. You usually look for hidden bullish divergence on an uptrend. We are not in an uptrend, but however, it could play out. As you see, it was confirmed on the 19th of December, and now we're getting our rotation to the upside. So sometimes the divergences play, sometimes they don't. I don't give them weight, as in I don't trade off them solely. It's just looking for confluence and trying to see where's my next zone and what are the probabilities for my trades. That's the only reason I look at these divergences. Now let's look at the hourly divergences. CVD, FFI. Let's do that and put it back on the chart. Yeah. So on the 4-hourly, we had hidden. On the 4-hourly, we said we have hidden bearish div, which is strong. We are in a downtrend, so we need to be aware of that. On the hourly, do we have any short-term divergences? On the hourly, no bullish divergence over here. No bearish divergence. However, the 4-hourly has shown us what could happen. So just be aware of that. We're having some divergences on the 4-hourly closing in about 20 minutes. If this happens to the RSI in the 4-hourly and we aren't able to break on the RSI above that line, if the price action isn't able to get above the 17.4 and this 4-hourly candle and probably the next, then this will be confirmed and will be coming lower. Now I want to look at the CVD and see what was the CVD doing for the past hours. CVD on the hourly. So CVD for the past how long was going up while price action was kind of going up, but however we got a push down, bigger players absorbing the up move and only to push price higher, and CVD tries to push lower, then we get this rotation to the upside. Now if you look at OBV, on balance volume, for any kind of divergences, we can look at the OBV on the hourly, nothing. On the 4 hourly, no bearish div. On the 4 hourly, OBV, no divergences at all. On the daily, we might see something. Okay, on the daily, nothing. We could have a divergence on OBV, and that's only one indicator. If the RSI on the daily closes like that and price action maintains this up, holding at that price. So on the daily, we have one indicator that could give us a bearish div on the daily. On the weekly, we had pretty bullish divergence. That was in the 7th of November, 14 November. At the moment, we have no divergences on the weekly. No bearish, no bullish. Yeah, so that's all I have for now for Bitcoin. Hope you liked it. Are you ready for the next leg down? Smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. More trades. I'm out.